Hello everyone. I hope you're having a peaceful day. At Tu Tien's first counseling visit, she learned a grounding tool. Until a motorbike began idling outside the window, not passing, just waiting. Tu Tien went rigid and whispered, "That voice. I heard it in the dark." Then she added the detail that froze Jack. The man used Jack's full name and joked, "Families are easy." If you've ever protected someone while hiding your fear, you'll understand. Like and subscribe so families heal and stay safe together. Some mornings heal you by being ordinary, and some mornings heal you by proving you can handle what isn't. Jack tried to give Tu Tien the first kind, quiet, predictable, and built to protect her nervous system from surprises. He opened the curtains just enough to let the room fill with soft, gray sunrise. On the counter, the healing plan paper from the clinic sat under a glass so it wouldn't crinkle. Jack had written 3 words at the top in clean block letters. Early, simple, together. That paper kept the day from turning into guesses. Tu Tien sat at the table with ginger tea, taking slow sips. The bruise on her cheek was fading, but the flinch in her shoulders still lived close to the surface, ready to rise at a slammed gate or a sudden voice. Anna padded in with her tin box and placed a care card beside Tu Tien's mug like a ritual. Tu Tien unfolded it. "If you feel small, remember you came back." Her eyes watered, but she stayed upright. She breathed in, then out, as if practicing strength without forcing it. Jack watched, then said, "We're going now." Tu Tien's fingers tightened around the mug. Jack caught it and softened the landing. "We don't have to talk in there," he said. "You can sit. I can speak first. You can nod. You can leave. It still counts as healing." Tu Tien searched his face for the catch. There was none, only permission. She nodded once. "Okay." Officer Tu didn't enter the house. She didn't need to. Her presence stayed outside. Plain clothes, no uniforms, no drama. Jack wanted Tu Tien to feel like she was going to counseling, not walking into a police operation. When they left, Mom Loy stayed with Anna and followed the new rule like it was sacred. No opening the gate, no answering unknown knocks, no gossip on the porch. In the car, Jack kept the pattern he'd built. Steady speed, familiar route, no sudden stops. Tu Tien sat in the back seat, hands folded in her lap, gaze fixed ahead as if she was holding herself together with one thin thread. The new phone rested in her palm, and her thumb rubbed the edge of the case. One small motion, over and over. Jack spoke quietly. "Today isn't about telling everything," he said. "It's about teaching your body you can be in a room and still be safe." Tu Tien swallowed. "I don't want to cry," she whispered. Jack didn't promise what he couldn't control. "If you do," he said, "it's allowed." The counseling office was small and almost empty. No crowded waiting room, no big sign out front. A woman met them at the door. Mid-30s, calm eyes, soft voice. She didn't rush or lean in too close. "Tu Tien?" she asked gently. "I'm Dr. Mai. Thank you for coming." Tu Tien nodded but didn't speak. Jack did what he promised and spoke first, keeping details minimal. She was missing 20 days, he said. We found her. Loud sounds, crowds, unexpected voices. Those trigger her. Dr. Mai nodded as if he'd handed her a map, not a tragedy. That makes sense, she said. Then she turned to Tu Tien with respect that didn't demand words. Today you don't have to tell the story. Today we only build a tool. Tu Tien's gaze lifted slightly. Tool. A grounding tool, Dr. Mai said. When your body thinks it's back there, we teach it how to return here. She guided Tu Tien to a chair near the window, not too exposed, not too closed in, and pointed to what was already real. Name 5 things you can see, she said. Tu Tien's voice came out thin. Window, teacup, plant, chair, your pen. Good, Dr. Mai said. Now 4 things you can touch. Tu Tien's fingers moved slowly. Blanket, my sleeve, the chair arm, the phone. Because of that phone in her hand, her shoulders lowered by a fraction. Dr. Mai continued, 3 things you can hear. Tu Tien paused. Your voice, a fan, a bird. 2 things you can smell, ginger, soap, and 1 thing you can taste. Tea, Tu Tien said, steadier now. Well, that's the tool, Dr. Mai said, leaning back to give her space. You just proved your body can come back. Tu Tien's eyes filled, but she stayed upright. She wiped 1 tear and breathed. Jack didn't touch her or interrupt. He just stayed, keeping his calm bigger than her fear. Dr. Mai asked 1 more question, careful as stepping around broken glass. What is the hardest moment of the day right now? Tu Tien's hand slid into her pocket and found the care card like a handle. Night, she whispered. When the house is quiet. Dr. Mai nodded. Quiet used to mean safety, she said. And now quiet means you can hear your memories. She didn't let shame stick. No shame. We'll build a night plan. She wrote it in simple steps. Warm drink, light on, breathing, the grounding tool, no social media, no loud news, and slid the page toward Jack the way you hand someone a life jacket. Jack read every line like instruction, not suggestion. Then a new sound arrived and refused to leave. Outside the window, an engine idled, not passing, waiting. Tu Tien's whole body went still, her eyes fixed on the glass like it was a threat. Jack's jaw tightened, but he didn't stand up fast. He didn't run outside. He leaned forward and asked softly, Tu Tien, blink twice if you want to leave. Tu Tien blinked once, then twice. Dr. Mai stood calmly. We can end here, she said. This is a win. You came. You used the tool. You chose safety. Jack guided Tu Tien out without rushing, keeping his body between her and the parking area. In the hall, Tu Tien's lips moved, barely audible. That voice, she whispered, eyes still on the window. I heard it in the dark. Jack didn't ask for more. He only said, I hear you, and kept walking. They reached the car, and the motorbike revved once. then rolled away casual, as if it had never been there. Jack didn't chase. He memorized the sound, and the truth settled into place. Healing could continue, but the outside world was still trying to touch it. His hand went to his pocket, touching the phone. The voicemail icon sat there like a bruise. He didn't play it, but he knew he'd call Officer Thu right away. The second Tu Tien was inside and breathing again, because someone chose that window for a reason. Before the car even cooled in the driveway, Jack's hand went to his pocket and touched the phone. The voicemail icon still sat on the screen like a bruise he refused to press. He walked Tu Tien inside first, guided her to the chair by the window, and set the healing plan paper flat on the table. "Water," he said, voice ordinary. Tu Tien drank in slow swallows. Anna slid a care card beside the glass without being asked. "If you feel small, remember you came back." Tu Tien traced the card's edge once, then nodded as if the words were a rail she could use. Only when her shoulders lowered did Jack step into the kitchen and call Officer Thu. "I'm sending you the address," he said. A motorbike waited outside the counselor's window. It idled. Thu's answer stayed professional. "Did she see a plate?" "No," Jack replied, but she recognized the voice. "Then we treat it as intimidation," Thu said. "Stay calm inside, I'm moving." Jack kept that call outside the living room. He reheated ginger tea, set it beside Tu Tien's mug, and pointed to Dr. Mai's night plan notes on the paper. "Warm drink first," he reminded her. "Then rest." Tu Tien's gaze flicked to the street, then back to the cup. "I did the tool," she whispered. "You did," Jack said. "And you chose to leave. That's control." At 4:10 p.m., Tu Tien, Thu parked 2 streets away and walked up like a neighbor. Jack met her on the porch so Tu Tien wouldn't hear names. The porch light stayed on, stubborn in daylight. "The office has a door camera," Thu said. "So does the bakery beside it. We pulled both." She turned her phone to him. A motorbike stopped. The rider lifted a hand to his mouth, recording. As he left, the plate flashed. Thu froze the frame. "Registered to a runner named Vin," she said. "Known for paid messages." Jack's jaw set. "So we follow the payment." "We do," Thu agreed. "Tonight." Inside, Jack kept the house soft on purpose. Soup, dim lights, no sudden noises. Tu Tien rested with the blanket over her legs, the care card resting in her palm. The phone stayed close, but Jack made sure it stayed quiet. Then Tu Tien stared at the street and spoke with effort. "That sound. The motorbike." Jack asked the safe question. "Did you hear it while you were missing?" Tu Tien's fingers tightened on the phone case. "I didn't see faces," she said. "I saw shoes. I saw hands. But I heard voices." Jack didn't rush her. "What did the voice say?" Her eyes filled, but she remained upright. "He called you by your full name," she said. "And he said, if I ever got home, I should tell you to stop." Jack's throat tightened. He reached his hand toward her, palm open. Tu Tien let her fingers touch it for 1 second, then returned to her lap. Thu texted a single line, 7:30, back lane by the bakery. Plain clothes. At 7:30, the lane smelled like flour and exhaust. Thu stood near a closed shutter, neutral posture. 2 other officers blended in, one with a shopping bag, one with a coffee cup. Jack kept his phone down, face calm. Vin arrived on the same motorbike, engine idling in that patient way. He looked at Jack and smiled, as if the smile was part of the job. Thu spoke first. "You waited outside a counseling office today. Why?" Vin shrugged. "Just passing." Jack lifted his phone and showed the freeze frame plate image for a heartbeat. "Not passing," he said. "Waiting." Vin's smile cracked. He tried to swing his leg back over the bike, but the officer with the shopping bag stepped behind him and quietly removed the key. No shouting, no chase. Just a clean stop. Tha kept her voice flat. "Who paid you?" Vin tried for bravado. "You don't want that trouble." Jack stayed controlled. "You already brought it to my child," he said. "Now tell me who thinks families are easy." At that phrase, Vin's eyes flicked. It was small, but it was enough. "He said that?" Thu asked, sharper now. Vin exhaled fast. "I don't know his real name," he blurted. "People call him Hui. He pays runners. He paid a market woman to watch your birthday dinner." "And what did he want Jack to stop?" Thu asked. "The complaint," Vin said. "The report. He said if Jack kept pushing, he'd make the house loud again." Thu nodded once. "Pooh, that's intimidation," she said. "Now it's evidence." Tuko didn't linger. She took Vin's phone, opened the last call log, and set it on speaker. "You confirm the pickup," she said. Vin's throat worked. "He'll know," he muttered. "Keep it short," Thu replied. Jack stayed silent, picturing Tu Tien's blink twice signal in the care card by her water glass. The call connected. A man answered, impatient. Vin said, "Same place, 10:30. The man replied, "Bring it, then vanish." Thu ended the call. "Location and time," she said. "Now we document everything." Shakathu. Jack glanced at his own phone, voicemail still unread, grateful the danger stayed outside today. By 10:30, Hui was no longer a rumor. Thu used Vin's payment trail, messages, a transfer screenshot, and the bakery camera, to find the pickup point behind a storage unit. Inside were burner phones and a notebook with names. Jack's full name sat in the middle like a target. Thu called Jack before midnight. "We have enough," she said. "Charges filed. A restraining order is in motion. Patrol rotation starts tonight. And her next appointment will have quiet coverage every time." Jack exhaled, slow. "Thank you." "Go back inside," Thu said. "Keep the healing plan sacred." At home, justice looked like silence that was earned, not borrowed. Community looked like Mom Loy setting soup on the table and finally letting her shoulders drop. Routine looked like the night plan taped beside the charger. Warm drink, light on, grounding tool, care card by the pillow. Tu Tien drank her ginger tea, then read Anna's card out loud, steadier than yesterday. Anna climbed into bed without asking if the gate was locked, because she heard the latch click softly and trusted it. Jack slid one care card into his wallet. If mommy is brave, daddy is allowed to be happy. And for the first time in days, he let that sentence land. He turned off the kitchen light, left the porch light on, and sat beside Tu Tien until her breathing slowed. No voicemail buzzed, no motorbike waited. Only the quiet they were rebuilding. Early, simple, together.